Welcome to the Dodgers Blue News channel. Before the news, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Now, let's get to the Dodgers news.
Hey, Dodgers fans! Today we're going to talk about what's happening with our beloved team in this delicate moment of the season. Take a look at the situation we're living right now. The Dodgers are leading the National League West Division with a 2-game advantage, but you know that doesn't tell the whole story. Dave Roberts, our manager, is facing pressure we haven't seen in a long time from Dodgers Nation. The team is doing something that nobody can really explain. Against strong opponents, they play like world champions, 11 wins and only 4 losses against winning teams. But here's the part that's driving everyone crazy. Against weaker teams, the ones that should be easy prey, we're sitting at 6 wins and 10 losses in 31 games. That's right, you heard it. The Pittsburgh Pirates, who were 13 games under .500, swept the Dodgers at PNC Park. Since August 1st, our performance against weaker teams is 4 wins and 12 losses. These numbers are haunting our fan base, and with good reason. Sources close to the clubhouse are talking about a tension that wasn't there before. Dave Roberts, who is one of the best winning percentages among active managers with at least 315 games, is being questioned in a way we haven't seen in years. Social media is on fire with criticism of our 53-year-old manager. We're watching this unfold while the team has dropped 3 in a row and gone 5-5 in their last 10 games. It's hard to swallow when you've got a roster full of MVP candidates and all-stars losing to teams that are just fighting to stay out of last place. Roberts has changed the tone of his interviews. Gone is the usual diplomatic stance, and he went straight to the point. Each night, it feels like there's something else that doesn't fit in a specific game for a long stretch. I think it's on us to go out there every day and, to be honest, not embarrass ourselves. That public admission about embarrassment marks a big shift in the way Roberts talks to the press. But guess what? That frankness didn't calm the fans. In fact, it did the opposite. It confirmed the fears many of you already had about the direction of this season. The fan base isn't holding back on social media. Some say it's all Roberts' fault. Others call him a terrible manager. A few are even stepping away from watching games because they believe we'll be eliminated easily in the playoffs. Here's the irony. We have Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, and Freddie Freeman on our roster, yet we're stumbling against teams that shouldn't even touch us. The numbers speak for themselves. 4 wins and 12 losses against bad teams since August is something you just can't excuse. Roberts has won 7 division titles and 1 World Series in 8 seasons, but now the fans are questioning whether he can actually use all that roster talent to get us where we want to be. The pressure is real, and we all know what truly matters happens in October. That's it, fans. Tough times for our organization, but we're still division leaders. Let's see how this story unfolds in the coming weeks. Now let's talk about our phenomenon Shohei Ohtani. We've got some good news to lift your spirits after so much concern. Ohtani had a cold that kept him off the mound against the Pittsburgh Pirates on Wednesday. You saw he only played as the designated hitter while our team got crushed 3-0, and the Pirates ended up sweeping the entire 3-game series. Another one of those frustrating losses that's driving us crazy. But here's the good news. Our Japanese star has fully recovered and is cleared to return to the mound. Dave Roberts confirmed that Ohtani will be available as the starting pitcher against the Colorado Rockies on Monday. The manager explained that the decision to sit him out was about thinking long-term, making sure one of our key pieces is in perfect shape for the stretch run and, most importantly, the playoffs. Roberts made the coaching staff's thinking clear. You want to give him the best chance to go 5 innings in his next start. That's the right strategy, folks. There's no point in pushing the guy when he's sick and then risking bigger problems down the road. Let's look back at Ohtani's journey on the mound this season. He didn't pitch at all last year because of the second Tommy John surgery of his career, yet he was still the National League MVP and helped bring home our World Series title. Since returning to the mound on June 16th, he's improved with every outing. Just last week, he set his season high with 9 strikeouts. He's carrying a 4.18 ERA over 11 starts, solid numbers for someone coming back from a major surgery. And at the plate, people, the man is still an alien. batting .281 with 46 home runs, 87 RBIs, and 125 runs scored, the best mark in the National League. That's why we paid what we paid to bring this guy onto our team. We're sitting at 78 wins and 62 losses, leading the West, but with only a 2-game edge over the San Diego Padres breathing down our necks. The next series kicks off today against the Baltimore Orioles at Camden Yards. Having Ohtani healthy and contributing on both sides of the game is essential if we want to hold on to this lead and head into the playoffs at full strength. We need him pitching well and hitting even better if we're going to avoid more embarrassments like that one against Pittsburgh. And speaking of pitchers, let's talk about Tyler Glasnow, who gave us another scare in this turbulent week. You saw that Glasnow was scheduled to open the series against the Baltimore Orioles on Friday, but he ended up being replaced by Ohtani himself. The reason was yet another injury, this time back tightness that he reported to the coaching staff. Dave Roberts said the plan is to push Glasnow back a few days and get him back early next week, likely in the series against the Colorado Rockies. The good news is it doesn't seem to be anything serious. Losing Glasnow now would be a disaster, especially after everything we've gone through with him this season. The 32-year-old missed a large chunk of the year recovering from right shoulder inflammation after being a Cy Young candidate in 2024 before suffering that elbow sprain. When healthy, Glasnow is a cornerstone of our rotation. His Dodgers numbers speak for themselves, a 3.46 ERA and 249 strikeouts in 202 and 2/3 innings. That's exactly the kind of performance we need in the playoffs. In his last outing against the Arizona Diamondbacks, he dealt with blister issues, but still delivered 7 solid innings, allowed 3 runs, and struck out 6. It shows that when he's on the mound, he produces even under adversity. Now we just have to hope this back tightness is only a short-term nuisance. The truth is, health has always been the biggest challenge in Glasnow's 10-year career. If he can stay healthy for the playoffs, our rotation becomes much stronger. Look at our depth. We've got Blake Snell and Yoshinobu Yamamoto forming an exceptional duo, Clayton Kershaw with all his experience, Ohtani pulling double duty, and Emmett Sheehan to round things out. If Glasnow is available, our rotation can compete with any team in the league. But let's be honest, if Glasnow misses the postseason for the second straight year, that 5-year, $136 million contract is going to start to weigh heavily. It's not a matter of performance when he pitches, but availability. We need him healthy when it matters most. Now let's talk about a possible solution to one of our problems. Steven Kwan of the Cleveland Guardians might be the piece we've been looking for. Everyone following the team knows that Michael Conforto hasn't worked out in left field. His numbers are painful to look at, .185/297/320 on the season. For a team that spends what we spend, that kind of production in such an important position is unacceptable. Conforto had 300 plate appearances to prove his value and simply didn't get it done. On top of hitting below .200, he's also not a good defender in left field. The front office isn't willing to just hand the position to Hye-Sung Kim, at least not yet. Maybe when Max Muncy returns and Tommy Edman can go back to second base full-time, things will shift. But with the trade deadline approaching, we have a chance to add a real star to the position. David Schoenfield of ESPN predicted that the Dodgers will trade for Steven Kwan before the deadline. The reasoning makes perfect sense. Kwan would solve 2 problems at once. He'd give us a quality leadoff hitter and a major defensive upgrade in left field. You know we've been putting Mookie Betts in front of Shohei Ohtani to try and spark him, but the truth is that Betts simply hasn't been an offensive force in 2025 and shouldn't be hitting at the top of the lineup right now. Kwan would give us a player with excellent on-base skills in front of Ohtani, which is exactly what we need. Steven Kwan is a proven guy, 2-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glover, and he's under club control for several more years. He won't hit free agency until 2028, and projections suggest that when he does, he'll land a 6-year, $122 million deal. In other words, it would be an investment, but one with guaranteed return. Cleveland may be breaking up some of its stars, and this could be our chance to grab a player who would solve immediate problems. Putting Kwan in the lineup would take pressure off Betts, who's been struggling, and give us that elite leadoff hitter we've been missing. Now, let's imagine how Kwan would fit into our team and what we could expect if this trade happens. First, defensively. Kwan is a 3-time Gold Glover, folks. That means in left field we'd finally have the security we don't get with Conforto. He's got a reliable arm, good positioning, and the speed to cover ground. It's exactly what we need at a spot that's been a defensive black hole for us. At the plate, Kwan would be our ideal leadoff man. He's got impressive strike zone discipline, rarely chases bad pitches, and works counts in his favor. That's crucial for putting pressure on opposing pitchers from the very first at-bat. Picture the lineup: Kwan leading off, getting on base, and then Ohtani coming up to do damage. Kwan's on-base percentage is consistently high. We're talking about a guy who year after year sits above .350 OBP. For a team that needs to create scoring chances more consistently, having someone who regularly gets on ahead of our sluggers is pure gold. Kwan would also bring mental stability to the lineup. He's not a boom or bust player. He delivers steady production throughout the season. That's something our team has been missing, as we swing wildly between dominant and disappointing performances. His defensive versatility would also give Dave Roberts more tactical options. Kwan can play all 3 outfield spots if needed, giving Roberts flexibility to make substitutions and adjustments during games without sacrificing defense. And here's another factor. Kwan is young, in his prime, and hungry to win. Cleveland hasn't been making the playoffs often, so he'd come motivated to contribute to a team with real championship aspirations. That kind of energy is contagious in the clubhouse. What could we realistically expect from him? Around a .280 batting average, a .360 OBP, elite left field defense, and runs scored leadership. He's not a big home run guy, but he's exactly the type of player who does the little things right and puts his teammates in position to score. That's the missing piece in our puzzle. So let's step back and evaluate everything we've talked about today, fans. Looking at the big picture, we're at a crucial turning point as an organization. Dave Roberts is under the biggest pressure of his Dodgers career, and it's no coincidence. The numbers against weak teams are unacceptable for a roster of this caliber, and the fans have every right to be frustrated. But here's the positive side. We've got Ohtani recovering and coming back to the mound healthy. That's huge. Tyler Glasnow, despite the back scare, should be available for the playoffs, which makes our rotation significantly stronger. And the possibility of bringing in Steven Kwan shows the front office is aware of the problems and actively seeking real solutions. The truth is, our problems aren't about talent, they're about execution and consistency. We've got one of the highest payrolls in baseball for a reason, to compete for a championship. When we play to our level, as the numbers against winning teams prove, we're almost unbeatable. The challenge is finding that consistency against everyone. The pressure on Roberts might even be a good thing right now. Sometimes managers need to feel the heat to make the necessary adjustments. His more direct comments about not embarrassing themselves show he understands the seriousness of the situation. If we can keep Ohtani and Glasnow healthy, fix the left field issue with someone like Kwan, and Roberts finds the formula to motivate this roster against any opponent, we still have everything it takes to make a historic playoff run. What we can't do is waste this roster. We've got a window of opportunity with players in their prime, and moments like this don't come back easily. The organization has invested heavily, the fans deserve results, and the talent is here. The next games will show if we've learned from these frustrating stumbles or if we'll keep being that inconsistent team that beats giants but trips over pebbles. The choice is ours, and time is running out. October is coming, and that's where all of this will be settled once and for all. We'll keep following and cheering, because at the end of the day, we're Dodgers and we never give up. But we'll also keep demanding, because we deserve to see all this talent turn into another World Series title. Now we want to hear from you. What do you think about everything we discussed today? Do you believe Dave Roberts is still the right manager to lead this team to a title? Do you think a possible trade for Steven Kwan would solve our left field problem? And most importantly, with Ohtani and Glasnow coming back healthy, do you feel we still have a real chance to make a strong playoff run? Or do you think these stumbles against weak teams will hurt us when October pressure hits? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, Dodgers Nation.